Thanks for tuning to the ReShard show right here on OVWR. We're going to be joined by incredible guests, a guest that's already family here on the station. She's family in real life. Um, of course, you've seen her on different things such as SiriusXM. You heard her on SiriusXM as well. She has tracks with D1, Annie Julius, Dare David, hope I said his name right, Josh Copeland, and so many others. She's released two singles recently. To talk about that and more, we have the one, the only Anisa Fowler.
What?
And the crowd goes wild. Yeah. So, guys, we
Hey,
try to do this.
Latavia. Thank
Hey,
you for
hey.
having me.
Yeah, same here. We try to go live on Facebook, but it was getting us a little trouble. But we're gonna get through
Oh,
it.
technical difficulties, but we got it. We got it.
Yeah, that won't win today, so we're gonna get through it. So of course, for the people that are new to I guess the Nisa Fowler sound and just art in general, like who's Nisa Fowler in your own words?
Ooh, who is Anisa Fowler? Well, I am a lover of Jesus first and
Hmm.
foremost,
Yeah.
worshiper. I'm a mom of three. I lead worship at two churches consistently on Sundays,
Hmm.
and ever so often others may invite me to come in and help for special services, special events.
Hmm.
um, but yeah, I love God, I love his word, and I love being a minister of music.
Hmm. And so, can you share like some your youth history? When you grew up. Of course, I know, but for the people that don't know, she has some island culture in it, so she's a little crazy, but she's still commercial with the best of them. But in your own words, can you share like some backstory
Yes,
behind
well, since you done told the people about the island business.
it?
So I was born in Trinidad, but I came to America at 6 years old, really close
Hmm.
to seven, actually. I was just a couple
Hmm.
of weeks from my seventh birthday when I came to America, and I haven't been back to Trinidad. All the Trinis are going to be like, "What is going on?" Um, but yeah, so that is where I grew up. But I really, that's where I was born. But I grew up in Queens, New York.
Hmm.
I went to Oneness Pentecostal Tabernacle for 30 odd years from the
Hmm.
time I got to New York until about a few years ago when I
Hmm.
really felt like God was leading me in a different direction. But I was there for a long time. All of my youth and my development as a young minister was all there.
Hmm.
All of my doctrinal beliefs and being able to understand the Word of God, to teach the Word of God. I was, a Bible quizzer.
Hmm.
So, I grew up in the church, and it was a apostolic Pentecostal. So,
Hmm.
it was somewhat strict, but
Yeah.
as much as it was strict, it was also a very free place for me. And my pastor was extremely um, flexible and
Hmm.
lenient and allowed me any idea that I had. It was like, go ahead, Sister Anisa. So it was a really wonderful foundation for me to be able to kind of hone in on my gifts. I worked with a lot of the young people in the church. I started a youth choir with one of my best friends at probably around 14 or 15 years
Hmm.
old. And that choir developed, and we got to maybe about 60, 70 voices, did
Hmm.
McDonald's Gospel Fest. Like it was a beautiful youth. Youth was
Yeah.
a definitely a great time for me in the church, and it's where my love for God and for music was really birthed.
Hmm. And what inspired you to become an artist? Was it somebody on TV, somebody in the family, or just pop up out of nowhere?
I feel like my mom tells this story of her picking me up from school. This is back in Trinidad. So this is really young. And she'd pick me up from school, and I'd have all the little kids in my nursery school teaching them all the Sunday school songs. And it's one of those things that I'm just like, wow. from such a young age, I was interested in music, interested in pulling people together through music. A big influence was probably Yolanda Adams. I just enjoyed every time I saw her on TV or heard
Hmm.
her music. She was just absolutely phenomenal for me. And my mom got me every video that Yolanda Adams is doing. I was literally listening to every single note and singing
Hmm.
every single thing line by line, riff for riff. And it really just like built this passion in me. And I'm like, I want to do this one day. And
Hmm.
it developed. I started doing some things with some groups and then ended up branching off to be a solo artist.
Hmm. And how would you classify the Anisa Fowler song? Because people
Ooh.
they try to put different artists in different boxes, but in your own words, how would you classify it?
I do think people, put different boxes. I would, this is like so corny, but I feel like Anisa Fowler sounds like Anisa Fowler.
Indeed, indeed.
People may say, maybe at different points in times, I may sound like this artist or that artist. It's so funny
Hmm.
because there's a post right now that has picked up a lot of traction on
Hmm.
on Instagram. Um, uh, an influencer from Nigeria
Hmm.
posted my recent song and was like, "This girl sounds like who do y'all think she sounds like?" And everybody's in the chat putting
Hmm. Blowing
who
up.
thinks I sound like this person, that person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think my sound obviously is cultivated by a lot of artists around, a lot of artists that I hear. But at the end of the
Hmm.
day, I'm really not trying to sound like anybody. So I
Hmm.
would have to say that Anissa Fowler sounds like Anissa Fowler.
Amen. Amen. And then, of course, what keeps you inspired? You've been doing it for a while now. Like I said, you started as a young girl back in Trinidad, but now you're, grown person now. So, like, what
I feel like
keeps
I
you
did that shit of
inspired?
that when I was 5 years old, but I was loving music from then.
Yeah, yeah. Because the music industry can be up and down quite a bit. So like, what's keeping you going?
Mm. It's definitely, I think, my personal
Hmm.
desire to worship God.
Hmm.
And also what I see the impact of that worship is
Hmm.
on other people.
Hmm.
The industry is can be a very wild place,
Hmm.
even within gospel music, because the industry is the business side of it.
Hmm.
So when you talk, you're in the music business or the gospel music business, that
Hmm.
business side can get very, very wild. But for
Hmm.
me, it's really about the how worship changes atmospheres, how when we worship God, healing comes in the room and deliverance comes into people's lives and people's families are transformed simply because I make a decision to say, I'm going to have this vertical experience and share it with people
Hmm.
and bring them into that so that they can have their own vertical experience and
Hmm.
have God impart things on them. So really it's that I sing and I minister because I know the power of worship. I know the
Hmm.
impact of worship on my own life and I want to just pump that into as many people as possible.
And of course, you've had some incredible songs over the years. You got it. As a kid say, you got lit with "I Mean Jesus All the Way," and then you took us to church with "You Reign," and now you came back with nobody. Then you came back with "Love Lifted Me," well, the second part, the live version. And
Yeah.
so it's like we look back over all the songs that you've been a part of, whether it's just the performer or the writer, like what is that one song you're like most proud of?
Mm. It's interesting. I will have to say, there's two, if I'm
Okay.
allowed to say two.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
first one is going to be covered. Both of them you actually did
My
not
favorite.
mention. The
That's actually
see,
my favorite. I was going to get to that later, but.
yes, covered is it's one of those I think about the time when I
Hmm.
released that song, which
Hmm.
was right at the top of me going through a divorce. And I
Hmm.
didn't think it was going to be that way. I didn't think it was going to, and to be honest, the divorce had started long before and was finalized a few years before. But even after the divorce, there were times where we were trying to work through things. And then there
Mm-hmm.
was just this huge shift that was just like, absolutely not. This relationship is over.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when God gave me the Anisa, the Next Chapter, as a title for my EP. And I had released Covered before, but I made sure to put Covered back on that EP as well, because I had thought that Covered was about sickness and disease, and
Mm-hmm.
we were in a heavy pandemic at the time that that
Mm-hmm.
was released, when with COVID-19. But I realized that God was using that song to speak to not just me but women in general, because we grow up in
Mm-hmm.
church feeling like marriage is the covering, it's the epitome of womanhood in the church, and it's not. You're not defined by that. You're not defined by the failures that can occur in that, i.e. divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And it really was a song that, as I sung it every single time, I felt like God was using my own song to heal me. And with
Mm-hmm.
that, I knew that he was using it to heal others. And so many people came to me with that song who was depressed and going
Mm-hmm.
through so many things. And God really used the song to inspire them, to push them out of whatever state of depression they were in, to really bring healing in people's lives. So that
Mm-hmm.
was a huge song for me back in 2020, 2021. And
Mm-hmm.
most recently, I'm really proud of a song that I released called Akbara Miko. And this song, I'm proud of it because
Wait,
I
wait.
do not.
Tell the people what it be.
And so it means not by my power.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of it because I don't speak Yoruba.
Mm-hmm.
I got connected to a phenomenal artist from Nigeria, Annie
Mm-hmm.
Julius, and we decided to do a song together, Thy Kingdom Come. Well,
Mm-hmm.
two songs really. Thy Kingdom
Mm-hmm.
Come with
Yeah.
Freke Umo, and
Mm-hmm.
then Good God with Dari David.
Mm-hmm.
And both of the songs were absolutely amazing. And being of all of these men are powerhouse
Yes.
Nigerian, just wonderful, amazing worshipers. And
Mm-hmm.
being in that space for that amount of time, I'm just like, oh my God, I love this language. And Annie Julius helped me in writing this beautiful
Mm-hmm.
song for me, and it took forever. I still don't, I know I'm not saying Akbara the way that a true Yoruba speaking Nigerian would say it, but I
Mm-hmm.
just love the song. It is such a beautiful song, just letting us know that it's God's grace and its mercy. It's not by our
Mm-hmm.
power. It's not by our might. It's not by anything that we do. And God's hand is
Mm-hmm.
consistently and persistently on our lives. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just such a beautiful song. And I'm so proud of being able to do that song as an American, and celebrating the culture of Nigeria and the language, the Yoruba language. So that's, I'm super proud of that.
I was literally like trying to practice on how to say that. And I was like, you know what? I give up. I'm just gonna let her say it. So I'll just stick to the what's all in the quotations there. And what proceeds. So so I didn't want to butcher, didn't have a whole bunch of people show up at my door. You messed up. So yeah, I, I'm glad you was able to say it correctly, and gonna move on.
Yes.
but but of course, speaking of culture, of course, it's Black History Month. So what does Black History Month mean to you?
Mm. It's one of those things that I think as a believer, there's such
Mm-hmm.
a fine line with some of um the pressures that come
Mm-hmm.
with that, because of course I'm a Black woman and I'm
Mm-hmm.
proud to be a Black woman. And I think that it's important that I say that, but
Mm-hmm.
more than that, I'm a believer of Christ,
Yes.
and I'm a follower of Christ. And
Mm-hmm.
before I'm Black, before I'm female, before I'm even Anisa, I'm
Mm-hmm.
a Christian, a
Mm-hmm.
follower of Jesus Christ. And
Yep.
so for me, certainly, I I love our culture. I love our culture. I mean, my hair, this is blackness, all right? It's blackness. So I celebrate our culture. I celebrate our skin. I celebrate
Hmm.
the various shapes of all of
Hmm.
us, the shapes of our eyes, the shapes of our lips, the shapes of our nose, all of that. And there's so much, I think, trauma that we've been
Hmm.
through as a culture. And if we're not careful, we'll identify with that trauma when we
Hmm.
really need to identify with the cross. And it
Indeed.
isn't to say that none of that is worth talking about or none of it is worth working through with our counterparts.
Hmm.
But I just think if we get too focused on it, then we can go down another path that can end in destruction as well. So
Hmm.
yes, we celebrate everything, that we are and everything that we've accomplished, but more than that, it's really about us shedding and spreading the love of Christ, even in
Hmm.
Black History Month.
Hmm. And as we mentioned earlier, you just released the live version of "Love Lifted Me." So can you give us like the backstory why you felt it was necessary to do a live version, and um, what kind of feedback you've received from it as well so
So,
far?
I'll be really honest. This is one of those industry kind of an answers first,
Hmm.
because as you do music, you'll make mistakes, right? Like, it took so much money, so much effort to put the song out as a studio version. And we did the best that we absolutely could with that. Myself, I was at the time signed to Arnu Records, which is owned by one of my really good friends, Joshua
Hmm.
Arnu. And we went through the whole process of releasing the song on a studio version, and we made a couple of mistakes along the way. And when we decided to pursue some of the streaming platforms to really get on the playlist and all of those things, we had missed the window because it was no longer a new song. So in order to get it to be a new song, we had to make it new, giving it
Yes.
new metadata. And so we
Hmm.
decided, you know what, the song is amazing. We're
Hmm.
not going to
Indeed.
just go back in the studio, or we're not just going to go back to square one and rewrite new material for the sake of writing sake. No, we're going to go
Hmm.
do this live and let that be the new metadata to make the song new again.
Hmm.
So that's the industry answer for doing that. And I'm so glad that we had that live experience. I
Hmm.
had to do it twice. I think you
Hmm.
remember we talked about this
Yeah. Yeah.
when it first happened, because the
Hmm.
first videographer that we hired, there was a whole big mix up. So we had to do it
Hmm.
again.
Hmm.
Um, and both times was absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, the first time we have no record of it, but that's okay. It is in
Somebody
heaven somewhere.
somewhere, somebody somewhere got it. Just have to
Yes, but
find
the
them.
second time around, and this was back in 2022. So it's now 2025 that I released Nobody from that. And 2026, Valentine's Day, I released Love Lifted Me from that. And so
Hmm.
that just goes to show you. And I just want to encourage any artist out there, like literally just don't stop. Don't stop and keep pushing your music. Keep doing everything possible to get it out there. Don't give up. Don't think that the song is old because it's old for you. So many people on this planet have not heard the song yet. And in 10 years, there may be somebody that's never heard the song. It'll be
Yeah.
brand new for them.
Hmm.
So do not limit your timing, or do not make your timing a limitation for others. Get the music out however long it takes. And that was really the motive and the agenda there. And I'm going to say my newfound family in
Hmm.
Nigeria has been super, super instrumental in helping me get the music out a
Hmm.
lot in that market. So it's been doing really, really well there. And, I have some new things coming out soon. And I'm
Hmm.
really looking forward to not only taking advantage of what's happening in the African market, but
Hmm.
to try again in the American market. So I'm super
Indeed.
excited.
Yeah. And I know it's gonna be incredible. Um, you were just kind of giving advice to aspiring artists. So looking back where you are now versus when you started, like what advice would you give Anisa when she first started? being a music
Oh
artist?
man. I think one big thing I would say was I should have left covered on radio. I
Mm-hmm.
should not have stopped that campaign. I should have
Mm-hmm.
kept going with that. When the whole media-based billboard situation
Mm-hmm.
happened and that
Mm-hmm.
whole purchasing, merging,
Mm-hmm.
canceling, um, that was a big hit to the industry. And for
Yeah.
artists like myself who are independent, and yes, I was signed to our new records, but it's still an independent label.
Mm-hmm.
It's not backed financially by some, big
Mm-hmm.
company. And so not having the push to get through that kind of a change in the industry was huge.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of pulled back at that point because it just felt like too much. But
Mm-hmm.
if I would have told myself, just stick it out, just stick it
Mm-hmm.
out. um but you learn from those moments. We were able
Mm-hmm.
to kind of pull back and recalibrate, and in that recalibration, Joshua had a wonderful idea for the
Mm-hmm.
Cultivated Collective.
Yes.
And that has been a tremendous, tremendous endeavor that we've been on together with four additional artists other than
Mm-hmm.
myself. We have Josh Copeland from Sunday Best, David Bratton, who is the songwriter of the decade, being the
Mm-hmm.
writer of Every Praise, Chantel Norman Beatty,
Mm-hmm.
the sister of late Shay Norman,
Yes.
and oh my goodness. Lamont Sanders, he would absolutely slit me for pausing on his name like that. I'm telling Lamont is my bro forever.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot believe I just did that. But yes, Lamont
I was about to
Sanders.
say, but I was like, she's gonna get. So I just let you have the moment.
It was a
Yeah,
senior moment. It was a
yeah,
senior moment.
yeah.
But
So,
all five of us, we came together and
mhm,
worked on this cultivated collective. And I think it two is better than one.
mhm.
Certainly five is better than one.
Indeed
So
is.
that is a beautiful project that we dropped a portion of it in January, and more is coming this year. So I'm super excited about that.
Mhm. All right, now we're about to get into your business a little bit.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
So we got through all the soft stuff now. So the first one, I'll make it easy for you. The
Okay.
first one, what are some of your hobbies?
Hobbies. Oh my God. I love to read. And oh my God, this is going to be terrible, but listen, rest, okay?
Hmm. Hmm.
Sleep is important, and it's got to happen. And when the sleep is happening, leave Anisa alone because she's getting it in.
Yeah,
But I love to
gosh.
read. I love to read, and not like, and this is no shade to anybody who does like, like novels and,
Hmm.
storyline things like that. No, it's more biblical reading. I love to read what other spiritual educators are saying on
Hmm.
topics on the word, whether it be expanding your faith or
Hmm.
understanding the fruits of the spirit, things like the fruit of the spirit, all of that. So, like anything that has to do with biblical knowledge and advancing, um, that is my thing. I love doing Bible studies and all that too.
Hmm.
So, like
Indeed.
that is definitely a big hobby for me.
Yep. And then, of course, we're going to elevate a little bit more now. So, what's the biggest misconception of Elise?
The biggest misconception, I think a lot of people think that I'm super serious, and I think the reason that that happens is because for the most part people see me in the process of ministry.
Hmm.
Joshua always says, "Oh my Lord, you just walk like an evangelist," and I'm like, "Do I really though?"
Just a little.
So I think, people who know me from afar
Hmm.
may have a misconception that I'm a little bit serious, a little bit, kind of like, um, just that I don't laugh and joke as much as I do. But the
Hmm.
moment you have like any level of intimate conversation with me, or even not even that intimate, you're like, "Oh my
Hmm.
God, this girl's crazy." Yep, I am.
She's in my opinion, I think she's how can I say this without getting beat up? She should be a comedian as well, guys. I'll just say that. I leave it like that, you know. And in between doing her music stuff, she should definitely be on American Got Talent, tell us some jokes, chocolate
You know,
factory and all. Yeah.
I don't mean to tell jokes. So I don't know if I would be funny on a stage like that. I feel like I say things for real and people are laughing and I mean them. It's not
So
a joke.
that's what people, they'll be gravitating to because, it's real to you, but of course they
Yeah.
may think it's a joke, but the way you deliver it's gonna really boom, hit hard. Um, but yeah, so
Well,
that's
we'll
the
see. Maybe one day.
yeah, we'll have to add that to the resume.
Yes.
Of course, your mother, what has parenthood taught you about yourself?
Oh my goodness. Parenthood has taught me that I do not know what I'm doing. Okay. Okay.
No.
Every time I'm like, I got this.
Hmm.
Somebody gets a year older and they
Hmm.
transform. Ontario, these three people that live in my house with me, they it's like 20 people because they're
Hmm.
different from
Hmm.
school hours, after school hours, early morning hours. I don't know which version of them I'm gonna get. But you
Hmm.
know what? It has honestly, it has taught me that I'm resilient,
Hmm.
that I I'm creative.
Yes.
I'm able to I feel like I don't know if you've ever heard that song. Like there's this song that they have. It always comes around Mother's Day of like all the different things that moms are.
Hmm.
Literally, I have like special driving powers. I can get
Hmm.
from one place to the next in like, I don't know, the Holy Spirit lifts the car and it gets wings. So I've got
Transport you.
special chauffeur, Uber,
Hmm.
Lyft driving skills.
Hmm.
Um, and there's also the directing them in terms of their relationship with God.
Hmm.
And I want to be so intentional about that. I don't want to force them. And at the same time, I'm like, I kind of gotta force you to come to church and force
Hmm.
you into understanding how important God is to figuring out who you are. So it's they have taught me a lot. They have taught me a lot. I've grown in patience. I've
Hmm.
grown in so many different ways. So I'm grateful for them. And I thank God I have good children. I
Yes.
really do. Sometimes I'm utterly stressed to the max.
Hmm.
But they're not in the streets, they're not on
Hmm.
drugs, they're not aggressive and abusive and
Hmm.
anything like that. We have a fantastic relationship, sometimes too good of a relationship, and they forget I'm their mother. And I'm like, yo, who you talking to? But
Most
it,
son.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why. And then, of course, you're in New York. So, for somebody that's never been to New York, what is the three restaurants they should definitely check out, and what landmarks should they check out as well?
Oh my God. I don't know. I don't know. So, there's like the thing that everyone says, whether it's like the Statue of Liberty or something. I don't know. All of
Mm-hmm.
those, there's the Museum of Modern Art. Um, and everything on like 42nd Street in
Hmm.
Manhattan. I don't know. I am not the traveling, interested in the city kind of a person.
Hmm.
Um, and then when it comes to restaurants, oh my gosh, like I enjoy like Cheesecake Factory and
Hmm.
like basic stuff, which is,
Hmm.
you can probably get that anywhere. I'm
Hmm.
so simple.
Hmm.
Yeah, I definitely I enjoy seafood, so
Hmm.
I will find an all-you-can-eat seafood
And tear it
place
up.
anywhere and tear it up. But
Same.
yeah, no, I don't think I am the person to give the answers for restaurants or fancy places or anything.
Hmm. Yeah. And then, of course, before we get up out of here, who has been the most impactful person in your life that has helped shape who you are today?
Ooh, I would have to say my mom. My
Mm-hmm.
mother, outside of being a walking Bible, is the epitome of strength for me.
Hmm.
Um, she raised myself and my younger sister pretty much all by herself,
Hmm.
um, and raised us in the fear of God.
Hmm.
Really showed us that there are so many times growing up that we didn't even know we didn't have. Ontario, there
Hmm.
were times that we didn't have electricity, and my mom would like light candles and
Hmm.
say like it's no lights night or whatever she said, and
Yeah, creative
we were
flip.
just like, oh my God, this is fun times. And she'd
Yeah.
buy one box of Chinese food and we would share that, and it would be
Hmm.
the best chicken wings and pork fried
Hmm.
rice ever. And we had no idea that there was such a deficit financially in
Hmm.
the home. She made it just a wonderful, loving, fun place.
Hmm.
And for up to now, my sister
Hmm.
and I, we're adults, children, all of that. And we're still like three sisters, the three of us.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
my mom had a huge impact on me, and I
Hmm.
definitely appreciate her.
So a big shout out to Mom for holding it down and being
Yes.
creative as well. And of course, right now the big thing in music right now is AI.
Oh God.
So so in your opinion, should we embrace it or compete with it? There's
I
no
think
wrong
we have
answer.
I think we have no other choice but to embrace it. However, I
Hmm.
don't think there's enough regulation around it. I
Hmm.
think that because at the end of the day, there is someone that's
Hmm.
fueling the creativity
Yes.
into whatever system that's
Hmm.
ultimately producing this music. However, that creativity is not from that individual only. It's
Hmm.
pulling from all sorts of available public information, and there isn't any regulation on it. And also too, if there were to be regulation, it would still it's not just about like knowing, oh, it pulled from Yolanda Adams' voice and it pulled from Lauren Daigle's voice, so those two voices should get a check for it. It's not really about that. It's just more so about acknowledgement. And
Hmm.
also, I don't want to compete with it. I'm
Hmm.
a human being, and a human being should not have to compete with a computer. And
Correct. Yeah.
that is the thing, at the end of the day, creativity is expanding and we have to
Hmm.
embrace that. But there should
Hmm.
be a lane that goes in and that it's identified as that, because I think the other part of it is the secrecy of it. We
Hmm.
don't know when it's AI sometimes. It's
Hmm.
getting so good.
Yeah.
And I think that is problematic. And it's not
Yes.
just, in music, it's in so many aspects of life. And at today you can take a random selfie and have a whole birthday shoot that looks
Hmm.
stunning. And how many photographers just lost out on that opportunity
Yeah.
because of that,
Fortunately.
you
Yep.
know? So I mean, with everything there's good and there's bad, and I wouldn't say
Hmm.
it should be gone altogether, but certainly get your own AI platform and have your own
Hmm.
AI computer award you for your own AI wonderfulness, and have your own
Hmm.
AI Grammys and your
Yeah.
own AI Stellars. Don't be
Yeah.
in the ones with the humans because it's not
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah. Because I know a while back, an AI artist was the top, excuse me, top artist on Billboard. So it surpassed all these human beings that's been doing it for years.
That
And
is wild. That's
yeah,
wild. I think
and,
it's just in the same way in certain categories of things. You have the basketball, you have the football, you have the ice
hmm,
skater, you have all the
yes,
different categories. You're
hmm,
not gonna have somebody who plays baseball compete against somebody who is an ice skater to see who's
hmm,
the best ice skater. That's not
no,
fair. The ice skater is
mhm,
gonna win that. So I
yeah,
just think that they need their own lane with their own rules and regulations, and give the shout outs where it's necessary, but do
hmm.
not. There should never be an AI number one. That's wild. That is
Has no soul at
wild.
all. No soul at all, but he's singing soul music. So that's the wildest thing ever. Because now,
Yeah.
not only, like I said, it's not just in music, but of course, people are creating like a full series of like TV shows, and whether it's for kids or adults, creating whole TV shows, films, everything, commercials. Um, and I think person kind of hurts people that's been doing it for years or trying
Yeah.
to do it hurts them. But on the flip side of it, if people are just using it, like for example, if they're using it in music, if they're just using it for a reference track, because everybody can't play an instrument, but
Yeah.
certain platforms that I checked out, you can also hum something and then they'll make that same melody. So, like I said, it's getting scarier by the day, but
Yeah.
um, I think when somebody just using it as a reference versus a full out track, I think it's okay, but
Yeah.
uh, still have to be, I guess, interject the human part of it as well.
Yeah. And
But
I think the other thing that was like scary about the situation with the number one, the AI being number one, was that nobody knew it was AI until they started digging into it. So
yeah,
that's the part that I think is really problematic. Like
hmm
there should be some kind of marking, however small it
hmm
is, but there should be some indication on all platforms, not just music, but what we see in terms of social media. Like we
hmm
should be able to know, okay, this is AI, because at this point, it just feels like everything ridiculous is AI, but that's not
hmm
a good gauge because there are so many things that have been ridiculous in the past that are real, that if they were
hmm
to be presented today, we'd be like, oh, that's AI.
yeah,
And how many people wouldn't be helped because we're not taking them seriously because it
hmm
seems too insane to be real?
hmm
Then there needs to be some kind of warning.
yeah.
AI or whatever.
Especially with some
I'm
of the
not
stuff
a
that Michael
human.
Jackson used to do. Some of the stuff that
Yeah.
Michael Jackson used to use in his records, a lot of that stuff, and Prince, a lot of stuff that they use was like nobody else was thinking of these particular things and sounds.
Yeah.
So you hear, like you said, you hear today, like that's definitely computerized things, or
Yep.
it's weird. But of course, we'll come to the end today. Of course, you just released "Love Lifted Me," the live version, live in New York,
Yes.
New York. So what what's the driving force behind that particular song, and um, what do you hope people can receive from this song? That's right.
Really, it's the hand of God, the grace of God, the love of God. We need that so much today.
Mm-hmm,
That in this self self-care era and self-awareness, and there's so many things that we are growing in as a culture, whether it be therapy and counseling and mental health and all of that.
mm-hmm,
And we do play a huge part in our own healing process, but
mm-hmm,
we can't get anything done without God. And so I
mm-hmm,
really just want to encourage people that when your own love fails, when the love of a parent fails, when the love of a spouse fails, when the love of anyone that you love fails in any way,
mm-hmm,
you can lean on the love of God. And the love of
mm-hmm,
God is not predicated on your perfection. It's not predicated on your beauty. It's not predicated on anything personal. He chose to love you in spite of everything. The other day, I heard someone say that, we get so concerned about what people think about us. And we make,
mm-hmm,
we go sometimes into major levels of depression just based on a rumor that we think we heard somebody said something about us, and we feel so terrible about that. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. But with that in mind, how we respond to rumors, be them fake or not, think about the fact that there is nothing about you that God does not know.
mm-hmm.
Those terrible things that you don't want anybody to ever find out, he knows. The beautiful
Indeed.
things about you, he knows.
Mm-hmm,
Everything he knows. And in knowing everything, he chooses to love you.
mm-hmm,
That is a reason to serve him. And so I really pray that when people listen to the song, they come alive and they feel that love of God through the music, and they declare the things that the song is saying. No, I'm not worthy, I'm not perfect, but he still loves me anyway.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
God's love lifts me. He lifts me up out of, depression, lifts me up out of suicidal thoughts, lifts me up out of sickness and hurt in my heart, hurt in my body. God's love is so powerful. And that's really what I want the message of the song to be for anyone listening.
Mm-hmm. And do you want to do the honors of introducing Love Lifted Me to the people?
Sure. Okay. So, right now, coming to you is Love Lifted Me live in New York by yours truly, Anisa Fowler.
All right, y'all. You just heard it from my sister. So keep it right here on the ReShard show. Coming up, we have Anisa Fowler's new single, Love Lifted Me, live in New York.